Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. I'm Maya, and today I am going to tell you guys a few jail story times. I actually wrote down like some key talking points. I want to tell you guys my personal stories that I was able to experience, to reflect on them for growth and for mental health awareness. Brief disclaimer, everyone's experience is different, so this is mine. What was going on in your life before your first arrest? I was just in a party mindset that I just wanted to be out hanging out with friends, drinking, smoking weed, and doing hood rat activities. I was genuinely crazy at that point in my life. Not to mention, I was diagnosed with like behavioral issues at UNC Chapel Hill Adolescent Center. What led to your incarceration? My first incarceration was August 29th, 2016. It was the night before junior year, and me and my best friend at the time and her boyfriend were smoking weed on the train tracks, and all of a sudden, as we're walking back to the car, someone looks up and is like, I don't know what they said, but immediately we all start running in the opposite direction and they end up catching us. It's actually a funny story, and we got trespassing, railroad charges, and resisting arrest. Fortunately, my dad came and picked me up within a few hours. However, the following arrest, I believe, landed me 5 days of jail because unfortunately, when I called my dad to come pick me up, he said, I'm in South Carolina for a business trip and I won't be back for another 5 days. So that really sucks. Key point number 5, my mental state going in. Scared, numb, manic, clueless, resigned. I would say disappointed, upset, and definitely not excited. Talking point number 6, what happened the moment you were arrested? They just put me in handcuffs, take me to the jail downtown. 7, how the police treated me. The police always treat me all right. To be honest with you, I haven't had a really terrible encounter with the police yet. Knock on wood. I'll describe the booking process. So the long skinny of it, you come in, you have to take off all of your jewelry, piercings. They make you take fingerprints, they weigh you, check your height, I believe, and then they take you to holding. I'm currently editing this video. I do want to mention, since I'm an immigrant, and anyone who isn't an immigrant, they take you to an ICE agent and they just verify that you are in fact legal. And if you still haven't gotten bonded out, within like 12 or so hours, they take you to another room for you to strip down. They give you your fucking jumpsuit, and oh, you do have to bend over and cough. Every single time they make you do that. Then they give you your slides and take you to the pod that you're going to be staying in for the for the remainder of your time there, but if you do get in trouble in one pod, then they might choose to move you to another one. That's how it is in Wayne County. In Pitt, they only have one pod for the woman, one pod for the men, which was a very interesting experience. I will say, I feel like their county jail system is a little bit better than Wayne County's, only because they have tablets. I just really like the schedule. I feel like they do a better job of trying to rehabilitate and educate criminals or people who get locked up. First impression of jail: the smell, sounds, energy, how cold it was. I don't think I can get the smell of jail out of my nose to this day. Last time I got locked up was last year, so obviously I still, unfortunately, I'm getting reminders of what it's like every year. It's what you expect, to be honest with you. Next talking point, who you saw in holding. The only time I met someone or saw someone in holding that significantly not impacted my life, but actually like I cared for. Well, I didn't even care for them. When we ended up actually going to the same pod, but I ended up making out with this one girl in there. We got to talking, whatever. And I remember after I made out with them, like I was telling the other girls like how I have a crush on her or whatever. But otherwise I'm straight. And these girls sat me down and they said, look, if you guys continue talking on the outside, you have to remember that as soon as she pulls out her pants, there's not going to be a dick there. Mind you, that girl was a stud. So meaning like she had like masculine mannerisms in a way. She looked like a boy. It was like funny. First impressions, don't really get scared or nervous. Now that I've been incarcerated at least 10 times in 3 different counties, I now am aware more than ever need to just be mindful of what I say and know that I could trigger anyone at any moment, and these people could possibly be mentally ill, going through detox, having withdrawals. Definitely watch what you say, because you could step on the wrong toes and you don't know who they're affiliated with. Talking point number 13, daily routine: wake up, meals, lights out. I will say, I feel like they sort of feed me personally enough. The issue with their meals is that they make you gain weight like crazy. Like I don't know what shit they put in there. Even if it's just like rice and whatever, that rice makes me gain weight like nothing else. The taste of it, I will say, is for me, it's enough. Phone calls, how you felt talking to the outside world. In jail, there are people who literally hang on the phone all day, morning to night. I'm not one of those people. I'll like, see, the thing is, my dad doesn't like being bothered, so I'll call him once a week. I'll call my friends sometimes. Having that phone call makes me feel like appreciative that I have at least their support on the outside. So that's always nice. Inmates who surprised you, deep convos, unexpected kindness. My second incarceration. So during that 5-day run, a lot of girls took notice that I was only 17 and they sat me down for like an intervention. What these women had to tell me is that, first of all, this is not the place to be. Second of all, I need to change the direction of my life before it gets any worse. They pointed to another girl who was 18, said, now look at the way that she behaves and the way that she acts. Like, how is it that she's only 1 year older than you, but she's able to act more put together? She's not out here acting looking crazy. I will say my brain was not in order. It was very delusional, not enjoyable. That was not enjoyable to be around at that point in my life. Fights or drama you witness or try to avoid. I can't remember anything specifically. I remember we had to get locked down, like meaning go back to our cells when there was like a fight about to start or did start. I will share a little bit about my own fight that happened that landed me to be on lockdown indefinitely. As long as I'm going back to Wake County, they put me in isolation. So what had happened was, this was December of 2020. Actually, I got locked up December of 2020. I think it was that January or February. Oh no, actually this was 2 weeks after I got locked up, because at that time there was quarantine pod where you had to stay in quarantine pod for 2 weeks before getting moved to general population. Quarantine pod means that you're locked down in the cell 24/7. Eat your meals in there. They don't give you any opportunity to go outside of your cell and have rec. At that time, I once again am having behavioral issues, acting super crazy and annoying, and I would not stop ringing the buzzer in order for them to unlock my cell door so I could go and use the restroom. The correctional officers got fed up with me and said, look, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna move you from this cell to the cell that has a toilet in it. And as I'm packing up my stuff, I guess I made one wrong or aggressive move that caused the CEO to believe that I was about to pull something on her. And she just immediately got my arms behind my back and put handcuffs on me. During that, she was wearing like black latex gloves, and in the midst of all of it, her hand ended up near my mouth, and impulsively I ended up biting her wrist. I didn't draw blood or anything, but I definitely accidentally, impulsively assaulted a correctional officer, which actually, those are automatic felonies. I don't know how I only got charged with a misdemeanor. Thankfully, after the incident, I remember they took me down back to processing. I took another mugshot, and then when court rolled around, they ran both my charges concurrent. Basically, the judge or the DA will tell you, like, this is the amount of time you have to sit for your charge when you're found guilty. Fortunately, I only got 70 days for my assault on a CO, and they ran it concurrent, meaning that the time that I had already done it or I'm doing for my first charge, I can put those days towards the second charge as well. Number 19, unofficial jail hustles I saw. So like girls who knew how to do hair. For example, I gave a woman like 3 honey buns one time when I was locked up in Hanover County for her to put cornrows in my hair. So there's things like that. Also, there's women who know how to thread using the thread of the orange socks. Talking point number 20, how you kept your mind occupied. Reading, drawing, journaling, prayer, etc. So all of those things, especially working out. There's people who get locked up who, when they do time, they come out fat. Me personally, I go in there and every time I come out stronger. Breakdown, breakthrough, or wake up moment. Unfortunately, I haven't really had like an aha moment where snapped me back into sobriety, snapped me on to trying to be normal, working on my mental health, etc. Every time I get back into jail, unfortunately, I learn more illegal things and meet more people that I probably shouldn't meet. Number 22, any part that felt comforting or safer than the outside world. I mean, it's nice to know I won't get shot. I don't know. Not really. It's all around, it's a cruddy experience. Eye-opening, and at least now I can say I know what it's like. 23, the moment you found out you were getting out. Okay, my favorite moment that I found out, because every time I get locked up, I have to wait till court to get bonded out because I don't really have anyone. My parents aren't. I will say my dad bonded me out one time in Chatham County. Like, he met me there and he just paid the bondsman and I was able to get on with my life. Every other time I got locked up, I don't really have anyone there for me to get me out, except for when I was seeing this one guy who he bailed me out twice. And I remember the second time, he did like 6 months in prison, and then when he got out, he missed me and he bailed me out. I remember I'm going to sleep on the floor. I moved the mat to the floor because for me it was more comfortable. And I remember it's like before even lights out, and one of the COs come to my door, bangs on it and goes, "You're bonding out." And I just remembered the happiness, the relief, excitement. Mind you, I didn't know this was happening, so I'm like, no fucking way, no fucking way. He came to come get me. I don't think I will ever forget how that moment made me feel. At that point, I had already done like 3 months in lockdown. So how do you think I was feeling? Readjusting after. First meal out, first night of sleep, first hug. I will say my first few times getting locked up, I did have people who would literally take me out to eat every single day of the first week that I was out. The later times that I got locked up, I was just excited to get high again. What I wish people knew about jail but don't. I know nothing in jail or any knowledge of that type of experience isn't really going to help you move forward in life. Something that is interesting that I feel like is worth sharing. When you go to jail, all the white people stay with the white people. Latinos stay with the Latinos. Blacks stay with the blacks for the most part. So that's just how it is in there. Oh, I actually posted a blog about things that jail taught me. Here's some things I took away from my time in jail. 1, be conscious of your surroundings. 2, remain silent until spoken to. 3, watch your mouth for what you say. You can hurt or offend someone without even realizing it. 4, reading can be enjoyable. 5, being in jail on lockdown is the worst possible case scenario. Like, if you do get locked up, that's as bad as it can get. 6, honor your word, you only have it. Meaning, all you got is your word in there. 7, not everybody has the same support system as me. That was huge. That's like a huge realization that some people get locked up and they don't have anyone out there to help them out. You know, either they lost contact with their parents or they gave up on them, or I am truly fortunate that my dad puts money on my books, shit like that. Everyone's out for themselves. Number 9, having more wealth or intelligence makes you more respected by others. That's the sad truth. Unless you're like just a funny guy to be around, that's another thing. But like if you got money and people know it, or if, I guess if you're like high up in the gang, people gonna respect you. If you're smart, people love being around a smart person, especially like in prison. My buddy, he's very well spoken, he's able to roll with the punches. Like if someone says something funny, he's able to fire right back and feed it right back to them. And they called him the professor. Number 10, acquire the ability to refuse requests for favors and seize build boundaries. These are the few of them you listen to picked up while serving time. It's a better place, but every time I went, I always came out with something. If you guys want to see my blog, let me know. I'll personally send it over. I go under an alias on there. I don't really want people to know who's writing these ideas down. How people treated you after your release. It's just nice to see people again. I'll go downtown or something and I see all these faces that I haven't seen in a while. Some people don't even know what had happened to me, others sort of do. It's always nice getting that attention. 23, what changed each time, what didn't. After like the 4th incarceration, I was put on lockdown. That was the only change really. And then I just learned how to keep my mouth shut. Actually, no, I didn't. The time before last that I got locked up in Pitt County, I was so mad. And I was behind the door just banging and saying the craziest off the wall shit. Meanwhile, I think I'm out here sounding like I completely haven't lost my marbles. I don't even know what I look like. Talking point number 24, what would you say to someone facing their first time in jail? Shut the fuck up, mind your business. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for listening. If you stayed this long, I really appreciate that someone out there actually cares about what I have to say. And I would also like to encourage empathy because you never really know what someone's been through. Thanks for watching. Bye.